waking up one morning, opening the newspaper, and discovering that a single man had just decided whether your bank would survive or collapse. Not the president, not Congress, just one businessman. At one point in American history, one man was so powerful that when the U.S. government was about to run out of gold, it came to him for help. That man was John Pierpont Morgan, better known as J.P. Morgan. Some people called him a financial genius. Others called him the most dangerous man in America. He built one of the greatest banking empires ever created, saved the U.S. economy from disaster, created billion-dollar corporations, and unknowingly helped shape the modern financial system. But behind the wealth, power, and influence was a lonely man with severe health problems, an intimidating personality, and secrets that few people knew. This is the incredible story of the banker who ruled Wall Street. John Pierpont Morgan was born on April 17, 1837, in Hartford, Connecticut. Unlike many famous billionaires, Morgan wasn't born poor. His father, Junius Spencer Morgan, was already a successful banker. But being born into wealth didn't make life easy. As a child, Morgan suffered from painful illnesses. He battled rheumatic fever, skin diseases, seizures, and arthritis. Sometimes he was too sick to even attend school. Instead of playing outside with friends, young Morgan spent countless hours reading books and studying business while recovering. His father believed in one thing above everything else: discipline. He sent Morgan to some of the best schools in America and Europe. Morgan learned English, French, German, mathematics, accounting, and international finance. His father wanted to create the perfect banker, and it worked. At just 20 years old, Morgan entered the world of finance. He quickly gained a reputation for something unusual. He almost never panicked. While other investors lost their minds during financial crashes, Morgan remained calm. He believed every crisis created an opportunity. Soon, businessmen from across America wanted his money. But Morgan wasn't generous. If he invested in your company, he wanted control. He hated waste. He hated competition. And he hated poorly managed businesses. If a railroad company lost money, Morgan would buy it, fire incompetent managers, reduce unnecessary expenses, merge it with competitors, then turn it into a profitable giant. This process became known as Morganization. Many businessmen feared receiving a letter from Morgan, because if he showed up, someone was about to lose their job. By the late 1800s, America was exploding with industrial growth. Railroads connected the country. Factories were producing steel at record speed. Electricity was changing everyday life. Morgan saw one thing that others didn't. The future belonged to massive corporations. He financed Thomas Edison and helped spread electric power across America. He invested heavily in railroads. But his biggest move came in 1901. Andrew Carnegie wanted to retire. Morgan offered to buy Carnegie Steel. The price? Nearly $480 million. At the time, it was the largest business deal in world history. Morgan merged Carnegie Steel with several other companies. The result became U.S. Steel, the world's first corporation worth over $1 billion. $1 billion. At a time when that number seemed almost impossible. America had entered the age of corporate giants, and Morgan stood at the center. Then came 1907. The stock market crashed. Banks began failing. People rushed to withdraw their savings. Businesses couldn't borrow money. America was on the edge of complete financial collapse. Today, the Federal Reserve would step in. But back then, there was no Federal Reserve. So everyone looked toward one man, J.P. Morgan. At 70 years old, Morgan gathered the nation's most powerful bankers inside his private library in New York City. Legend says he literally locked the doors. No one would leave until they agreed on a rescue plan. Hour after hour, day after day, Morgan convinced wealthy bankers to lend millions of dollars to struggling banks. He even used his own fortune. Eventually, confidence returned. The panic ended. America had survived. Many newspapers declared that one man had saved the U.S. economy. But others asked a frightening question. If one private citizen had enough power to save the nation, didn't he also have enough power to destroy it? That question would eventually lead to major banking reforms. Morgan wasn't loved by everyone. Many Americans believed he had become too powerful. He controlled railroads, banks, steel companies, insurance firms, shipping businesses. Some critics claimed Morgan's influence was greater than the president's. His appearance also made him unforgettable. His large purple nose, caused by a skin condition called rosacea, made him extremely self-conscious. He hated being photographed. He often destroyed photographs he didn't like. Despite owning enormous wealth, Morgan wasn't interested in flashy lifestyles. Instead, he collected priceless art, ancient books, rare jewels, and historical manuscripts. His private collection later became one of America's greatest museums. But in 1912, Morgan faced intense questioning before Congress. Lawmakers wanted to know whether a small group of bankers secretly controlled America's economy. Morgan defended himself. Yet public opinion had already begun to change. On March 31, 1913, while staying in Rome, Italy, J.P. Morgan died in his sleep. He was 75 years old. When news reached the New York Stock Exchange, trading paused out of respect, an honor almost never given. Just months later, the United States created the Federal Reserve System. Many historians believe Morgan's role during the Panic of 1907 directly inspired its creation. His company continued growing, eventually becoming one of today's largest financial institutions. More than a century later, the name J.P. Morgan still appears on skyscrapers, investment banks, and financial headlines around the world. Some remember him as the man who rescued America. Others remember him as the symbol of unchecked corporate power. Perhaps he was both. Because history is rarely written in black and white. It is written by people. And few people change the course of American finance more than J.P. Morgan. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Old Sharks, and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching. See you in the next story.